Hey, what's up? Let me tell you how this bike changed my life again. Now, what I mean by again is that I've had a new bike change my life, because it's happened several times. If you're like me, you might have fond and maybe faint memories of the old bike that you used to ride in the neighborhood when you were a kid, that first taste of freedom that you got. And my first electric bike, I remember that very clearly. But this time, the electric bike that changed my life most recently, I didn't exactly notice when it first came in. In this case, the bike showed up and it was quite hideous to me. It is the Urban Drive style Unimoke. I'll show it on screen here. And this bike showed up for a review. At the time I was working for the publication called electricbikereview.com. At that time we were doing paid reviews, which is very common, by the way. And the bike showed up and it was a 100-pound monster with what I thought was an underpowered motor. And it was that kind of camp scrambler, sort of juiced scrambler kind of mini bike that's still very popular. At the time it was kind of new and considered trendy, and I thought this is kind of like a bike tailored for more young audiences. One thing that I discovered as I was reviewing the bicycle was that it had the application of putting a kid on the front. So that bike has a really long seat that extends all the way up to the stem. And as it turns out, that's quite rare. That's very rare. Not a lot of bikes, even a lot of the mini bike styles, have that sort of feature. And on top of that, they put little screw holes into the frame where you can put pegs. The purpose of it is that the kid can sit up in the front, grab onto the inside track of the handlebars where accessories kind of go, and they can ride with the grown-up. And I tried that out halfway through the review process, and it was incredible. It was amazing because my daughter was 3 years old at the time, and she absolutely loved it. So to my delight, the company, Urban Drive Style, they actually didn't request the bike back. They said that I could keep it, which is not terribly common. But for Sweet Pea and I, that was a life-changing moment for us. Looking forward from that time, we had pretty much free reign, a blank check on the future of exploration, and we've taken advantage. So right here behind me is a very small section of the Jordan River Trail in the Salt Lake Valley. It goes about 50 miles north to south, and Sweet Pea and I have been on that, on the Unimoke, twice. We've done the whole entire thing 2 times, in segments of course, and we've done much more than that. Her and I have about 2,500 miles together. It's hard to catalog because the display has reset. The bike isn't perfect, and that's one example. The most important thing about it was that it really changed not only her life and my life as a bond together, because now we're doing more things and seeing more things, but it helped me get out of the rut that I was in. All these electric bikes were just a function of my life instead of something that amplifies my life. I was doing paid reviews, and the bicycle that I got, I was worrying about all sorts of stuff. I would try to take pictures before it gets dirty, before I use it. Try not to bash it up because I got to send it back to the company. And I'm really trying to use the camera and the editing to kind of create a snapshot of the bicycle as a means to sell a fantasy to the person who might be trying to buy it. At the same time, it kind of sucks some of the life out of all the bicycle experiences that I had that had changed my life previously. I got to re-experience all the childlike wonder that got me so attached to bicycles in my own childhood. That we would go to some place, some no-name spot on the side of the trail, and my daughter would jump off, she'd go collect some sticks and rocks, she would give this place a name, and it would be one of her favorite spots, and it was so wonderful and magical, and everything was so important to her. And I watched that through her eyes that I had lost over all those years, and especially the years of doing bicycle advertising. It was so refreshing and humbling, and in a way kind of condemning, that I forgot it all. And doing that with her, it was great. It was great. And there really is no reason that you need to have that particular bike in order to have this particular experience. There are added accessories to put a kid onto the front of any bike with a top tube on it. That's not to say that it's any better than just putting a slightly older kid on their own bike and then going to explore. because kids have a seemingly limitless amount of energy so long as that can be harnessed. I don't want you to think that this bike changed my life, and if you want anything remotely similar, you have to get that bike, because honestly, I don't even know how popular that bike is in the United States. At any rate, the bicycle itself has undergone some abuse as we've been riding it and attempting to maintain it. Sweet Pea has been trying to fix it with me, and that's its own style of abuse, I suppose. We're actually going to do a rebuild project on the bike, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can check out when that happens. I don't know if I'm going to do it this season. We can probably skate through another one, and we might do the rebuild in the winter. But I've already got a bunch of the mechanical parts already set. The battery rebuild, that one's going to be a little costly, so I might have to save up for that one. I'm also going to take my next daughter onto it. So my next daughter is actually 1 year old, so you're probably not going to see her on bikes too often, but she's going to be riding the Unimoke probably about 2.5. So around this time next year, I'm going to be taking her out. But honestly, I want to hear about some of the most important bikes in your life. You can tell me in the comment section. Right now, the channel is quite small, and so I do have time to read all the comments. So please tell me about an important or life-changing bike in the comment section. And if you have any other recommendations for a video or something you want to know about the channel, or even e-bikes, let me know, and I'll be glad to answer, perhaps in a video. We'll see. I'm Mikey for Blue Monkey Bicycles, and I will see you on later.